Okay, the new STT system is this address at the top here, mobile.wiseconnectinc.com. You won't need all this, but if you go to that address in the browser without entering something wrong, it'll pull up this login screen. And the point of the mobile site here is to allow it to be more mobile friendly. If the tech is out in the field and wants to or needs to enter their time, this is kind of a simplified version of what we used to have with STT, and it's definitely more mobile and tablet friendly for entering time. So once you go to this address, I think all the IDs and user IDs for you guys have been created. If you aren't sure what that is, definitely send an email back to me and I'll work with getting that information to you. But I believe they've all been created. So I'm going to log in here as a just test user. If I can enter the password right. Okay, so once you log in, you'll be taken to the main home screen here. And the two main sections you will go into within STT is you'll view your timesheet and you'll add time. So if you click on View Timesheet, it'll pull up all the time that you've entered for the current week. So current week ends on Saturday. So this is for week ending 3/11. If you wanted to go back and look at previous weeks, you can click on the arrows to go back and forward. You can also click in the date box to select a different date. If you want to know what you did last month, you can click on it like that. So this is a good view to show you guys time you've entered for the current week. So at the end of the week, you can validate that you have entered all your jobs. You can see your total hours here at the bottom. So right now, this tech has entered 15 hours. You can also edit from this screen. So if you click on that drop down by the Sunday there, you can click edit this and it will pull up that time entry. And if you needed to, let's say you forgot to add any travel miles or you forgot to put the right type of work you were doing, you can click on edit this and it will pull that up to edit that specific time entry. So I'm going to show you guys how to enter time. So if you click on add time here, within STT, it has a 2-day restriction. So today I can enter time for yesterday and the day before. But if you look back up to that week before, even on Saturday, I can't enter time for that week. So if today was Thursday, I could enter it for Wednesday and Tuesday. So it's very important that you enter your time on that day or at least the next day to make sure you don't have that restriction impact you and you're not able to enter your time. If you happen to need to enter time past that 2-day period, I'd work with your lead or your supervisor and they will help you enter that time. So I'm going to enter time for today. Click on the date. You'll have this option to select time. So I'm just going to select a period here. The next options you can select I took a lunch or I did not take a lunch. These options aren't required, so it's definitely up to you if you choose to input that information. You can next add travel. If you have travel miles or travel hours, you can enter the miles here and the hours, and that will add that onto your timesheet. There's also JCO, unexpected time, that you can enter. If you click on that, you'll have JCO hours, JCO unexpected, the description of it, the travel hours, and the travel miles. And I'll get into another example of that as we go forward. For now, I'll just add travel, just regular travel. Let's say 50 miles, 1 hour. Next, you'll enter your work order PID number. So you have, you guys should know the N dot, I'm just going to enter some numbers here. Once you enter that N dot number, you click look up. If you have never worked for that job or on that job, it'll basically ask you to fill out some information about it. So the company, it automatically populates to Adtran. Select your location. So you guys, North Dakota, South Dakota. Select your project, North Dakota, South Dakota. Once you select that project and all this information is filled out, you get these service product codes populated below. So you'll see that 1 hour of travel I entered up here is populated down here. And if I scroll to the bottom, it'll basically tell me that I have 1 hour of the 5 hours allocated. So in this time entry, I have 5 hours of work. So I've done one with travel, and then I can enter the next few hours to make sure it's all allocated correctly. Once it's allocated, you'll get this green message that says 5 hours of 5 allocated. You can then click save. If you don't allocate it correctly, let's say you just kind of totally missed that red arrow there and you hit save. If you go back into your timesheet, you'll get a red arrow that tells you mismatch here. And this is basically telling you that you don't have all your hours allocated correctly. So you don't want any of these red arrows on your timesheet. So I can click on this down arrow here and click on edit this, and I can go back in and, oh yeah, I forgot I had 1 hour here. So once I have all that information correct, I get the 5 of 5 hours allocated. I can hit save here. Clicking save will save the information and refresh your screen. If you click new, it will also save the information and it will give you a new time entry. So I want to show you another example here. So I'm going to hit new. It's going to save what I just did and pull up another screen. I'm going to show you a different example here. I'm just going to select some fake time. If I have worked on this job before, I think I entered this one, and click lookup. No, maybe it wasn't that. Oh, the dot. Sorry. Okay. So that's what I've entered before, and it will, if you've entered it and you click lookup, it'll automatically populate the information about the work. So it gives you the company, location, project, and work order type. So you don't have to select those drop downs if you've worked on it before. So I'll come down here. I have 1.25 hours. I'm going to just show you example here, and click save. Another way to do that, if you've worked on the job, so let's see this one right here. This time, let's say you worked on this job Monday and you're working on it again today. You can click add new here and it'll pull up a new screen for you, and it will already save that end dot number, so you can reduce your chance of entering maybe the wrong number or having any problems with entering that end dot number. So then I just select the time and allocate the hours and save it. So I don't know how often you guys work on the same job day after day, but it kind of stores that for you to make it a little bit more simpler. A couple other scenarios to go through. If you have a JCO for the work, so let's say this has a JCO. So I'm going to select some time here to allocate this. If I click on this unexpected JCO time, let's say all 3.5 hours that I worked that day was JCO. So I'm just going to put a sample in there. Travel hours, I didn't have any hours, didn't have any miles. So clicking on this unexpected JCO time box, if I scroll down, you'll see that it already populates this unexpected time here is 3.5. So there's no need to kind of reallocate your hours, I guess. That is showing that JCO time, and that kind of gives us the ability to run different reports specific to JCOs. So what you would put in this description here is a better description of what you're doing, not testing. Like if you're doing one of these product codes down here, you could add that to the description field here. And then you click save. So I go back to my timesheet here. How STT works is you will get your per diem for every day you have hours on it. So if you've entered work on, let's say you should get 7 days per diem for every day, but you only worked Monday through Saturday. Sunday you didn't work, but you still need to get that per diem. What you need to do, and this is a bad example because I have work on Sunday, but I'm going to show you in this entry here. You will need to, if you need to add a per diem, let's say on the Sunday, and you don't have actual work on that day, click on the day that you need to add it for. You don't have to enter time in or time out. All you need to do is select add expenses, and you'll see this box come up that says weekend per diem will be added for the date above. You can hit all those 6 zeros here, and I will get into that in just a second. You hit those 6 zeros, You don't need to enter anything else other than the date, the expenses, and the 6 zeros, and then hit save. And if I go back to the timesheet, you'll see this blue box here that says weekend per diem. So you'll have to pretend that this day doesn't have time on it. But if you had work, let's say this is Sunday, or this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Saturday again, you'd have to have this Sunday with this blue box here to make sure you get that additional per diem on that day that you didn't work. Sometimes that works on a Saturday and a Sunday. So you could have Sunday, you could have all your time entered, and at the bottom you'd have Saturday. You'd have that weekend per diem entered at the bottom as well. A good place to review that it's capturing it correctly if you're unsure of how that works. When you're logged in as a tech, you have access to view this tech timesheet. So if you go up to dispatch tech timesheet, and your name will be populated here, and that's the only tech that you can view. So if I click on week ending this week, March 11th, refresh, it'll list every job I've done, all my hours for each job, and at the bottom it will tell me my per diems. So you can see I have 3 per diems because there's only 3 days I've entered time, and it gives you the total here. Gives you total per diem, gives you all your different miles and JCO miles breakdown, and then the total hours that you've worked as well. So if you ever want to make sure that all your hours are capturing correctly and you have all your per diems, this dispatch tech timesheet is a good place to review that. A couple other situations to go over. If you go back to add time, if you have any non-billable time, so time that you will get paid for but we don't bill the client, you'll enter that time. And then with this work order PIN number, you will enter 669. So when I click on those 6 nines and hit lookup, it'll ask for me to select the location. You guys are North Dakota, South Dakota. And then those 5.5 hours, you will just note where you had those non-billable hours. So what those nines do is it kind of puts a flag in the system that these hours will go through the payroll and you will be paid, but it won't let the hours go onto the customer invoice. It basically stops it at that point. So if you have an hour here or something for non-billable time, make sure you always enter those 6 nines. They do flag them a little different in the system. I'm not sure if it'll show you that here, but let me save it and see what go back. Changes those nines and shows that it's non-billable. Another situation here, if we click on add time, select some time to enter. If you have an unexpected JCO time, but it doesn't go on a PID, so if it's some sort of downtime that you're paid for and that you bill a customer for, but you don't have it on a specific NDOT number, what you'll do is you'll click on this unexpected JCO time. Say it's 4 hours. It was downtime. I didn't have any travel hours or miles. And what we do here is we enter 6 zeros. So once I hit 6 zeros and click look up, it'll ask me again for my location, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then it'll populate down here your unexpected time, which is 4. So that's all you need to do. So the 6 nines are for non-billable time. The 6 zeros are billable, but they're just not assigned to a specific NDOT number. It's maybe just assigned to that market of North Dakota, South Dakota. And then click save. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about the JCO.
Okay.
Can you only enter those particular product codes that are down there, or can you write in whatever?
For the JCOs, for that description, you can add whatever description you would need to add that would make sense if they're reviewing those JCOs. The only time you're restricted here is when you're actually entering those service codes, but you can enter whatever description you need to here.
Okay.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Nope.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. If you guys, I believe you have your login information. If you don't, send myself or Travis an email, and we can make sure we get you that information and try to. The goal is to get everyone trained this week, and then next week we will go live with using the system. So for the remainder of the week, you can still use your spreadsheets or the manual time entry you guys have been doing, but we're going to make the decision by the end of the week for going live next week. So if you guys want to come in here and play around, it's not live, you're not going to hurt anything, just to get familiar and make sure you're comfortable once we start entering time next week. And if you have any problems or any questions, I think the email I sent with the meeting information should have my contact information. So feel free to let me know if you have any problems.
Okay, sounds good, Tara. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tara.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh, sorry. Bye.